Welcome to the Darknet RPG video blog. My name is Scott Crossan. I am the Darknet, and this is a blog about one of my favorite hobbies, role-playing games. I've been doing role-playing games for about 30 years now, and figured I'd give you some of my opinions, because I'm apparently very opinionated, and review a few books that I think are really awesome, or a few books that I think you should very well stay away from. I'm also going to give you some top 10s of the best or worst things in RPGs. And the first thing I'm going to do is the first two top 10s are going to be the best Dungeons & Dragons settings and the worst Dungeons & Dragons settings. Because Dungeons & Dragons is a game I've been playing for virtually the entire time I've been playing RPGs. I've run it, I've played it. I've played virtually every campaign setting there's out for it. And some of them are really awesome, and some of them just make you want to go, why? Why were you even created? Why are you wasting paper? So, by the way, you are always free to post your opinions on the site in the in the comments section. So feel free. Vote me up, vote me down, share my videos, please. Anyway, real quick, since I'm going to be doing a top 10 on settings, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what I think is a good setting, and the opposite of which will be what makes a bad setting. It's kind of easy that way, don't you think? Anyway, good settings have a few things in common. First and foremost, they're original. And when I say original, they don't have to be 100% original. You can be too original, and if you get too original, then you kind of lose contact with the players, and really it's not that fun. I mean, I want to see something that just kind of catches my eye. Like, maybe they do something a little bit different. Like, for example, one of my favorite settings is Eberron. They do a lot of things with the typical D&D tropes in a different way that kind of makes, they're really thinking out of the box. I'll be talking more about Eberron in the best settings. Consistency. Consistency is very important. If you're going to do a lot of supplements and you want to go for a feel right away, it should have the same feel from beginning to end. And if not, then it should have some organic reason why the feel is different. For example, a lot of game settings will do something where they'll go out of print for a while and they'll come back in a different system, and the whole feel will be different. And it'll be one of those things where, yes, remember the Forgotten Realms you were playing in 3rd edition? They're different now. It's 4th edition. Live with it. Kind of one of the reasons I think 4th edition failed. More about that later. I'm not a big fan of 4th edition, just so that you know. I am a big Pathfinder player. I'm not a true Pathfinder fanboy, and Paizo does do a few things that makes me want to beat my head against the wall until the stupid goes away. But I do really like the Pathfinder setting. I do like the Pathfinder system. It's the 4th edition I actually wanted. I'm not going to be shy and coy about that. The system I've played the most is 2nd edition, by the way. 2nd edition D&D. That's what I mean. Right after that's GURPS. So yes, I do like GURPS. I think the 4th edition GURPS is kind of the biggest disappointment ever. But I will do a video on that much later. Let's get back to what we're talking about. Alright. Role of the PCs. See, the big thing that really sticks in my craw is when an RPG setting is set to the point where quite literally the PCs are teeny tiny fish in a gigantic pool, and they never get to be cool. They never get to be big damn heroes. There's always some NPC who gets novels written after him that gets to do everything that's cool. I don't like settings where all the cool things happen by characters in novels. My quick axiom on this is, novels make crappy settings, but settings can make awesome novels. And I know there's a few exceptions that prove the rule, but mostly if it's a setting based on a novel, it's going to be bad. And if it's a novel based on a setting, there's a good chance that it'll be good. Not always, but there's a good chance it'll be good. So when I talk about the role of the PCs should be the heroes. They should be the ones that, if there's a giant dragon threatening the country, it's the PCs that go deal with it. not some super mage that somebody came up with a book somewhere. A good example of that real of itty bitty fish in a giant pond is there was a Lord of the Rings computer RPG where you got to play the little brother of Boromir and quite literally follow around the ring bearer and Boromir and all the famous characters and clean up their crap. Quite literally, you had to fight the monsters that they didn't fight with because the monsters were too afraid of them. So in other words, you're just doing their light work for them. Not very fun, not very exciting. Yeah. So, you're going to hear definitely a rant about White Wolf and their complete fascination with super NPCs. Real quick, there's another thing that kind of ties into that meta plot. Now, a good RPG setting will have a meta plot. It'll have things going on in the background that PCs aren't involved in. That's good. When you have a meta plot that's so intricate and so grinding that quite literally the GM can't work around it, and it's a straitjacket, that's bad. So, meta plot that the PCs can affect and PCs can be involved in, good. Meta plot that destroys your entire game, bad. Real simple. Not that hard. Another thing is it playable? Is it fun? Because there are some settings that are just downright, I've looked at them, I think they're an awesome idea. I don't think I'd have fun playing, and I definitely would not have fun running. Not that they're bad ideas, they're just not fun looking. And they just don't grab me. And the big thing that grabs me is the hook. If you got a good hook, I'll definitely take a double take at your RPG. Best hook ever, Necessary Evil by Pinnacle. You're playing supervillains who are trying to conquer the world, but the aliens beat you to it. So now you have to beat the aliens to save the world so you can conquer the world. Kind of like what would happen if the Legion of Doom beat the Super Friends. And if you don't know who either of them are, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not. Anyway, another thing is support. Does the setting get a lot of support? And actually, when I say a lot of support, I mean enough support that it's playable. A lot of the one-book wonders are settings that have one book and nothing else, and and it looks like it's a great idea. There's just not enough really for the GM to run without having to really rewrite to do massive amounts of writing. You can also do too much support, and then it becomes a junkyard where you're trying to find little nuggets of cool in piles of garbage. Lots of piles of garbage. Yeah, that's another thing about like Forgotten Realms and Old World of Darkness is there was just too much crap for it. Anyway, villains. Definitely, if you're going to have a campaign setting, have some awesome villains. I want to see bad guys that the PCs really want to hate. Villains that the PCs want to go out of their way to beat the snot out of. People that and villains that are just kind of iconic. You just get that feeling that I hate this guy. Why? Because he's a jerk. Or because he's just evil incarnate. Or stuff like that. Anyway, that's kind of my first little quick blog. Like usual, if you want to have some comments, please put them in the comments area. Any suggestions, put them in the comments area. Think I'm a giant jerk, put it in the comments area. Anyway, I'll be posting my next two videos, which will be the worst D&D settings and the best D&D settings, 10 of each. So I hope to see you there. Till then, keep on gaming and have fun. Bye-bye.